welcome to Old Ways Gardening and Prepping. My name is Teresa. I would like to welcome you each into our kitchen this evening where I'm getting ready to start some dinner. And well, I haven't made stuffed biscuits in a while. This one's going to be different because I'm actually making the biscuits from scratch. And I'll bring you along for that. This is a two-part video. It'll be in the same video, so don't worry. Now, before anybody up north gets all riled up, I am, yes, making shit on a shingle. Southern style. Yep, Southern style. Now, I usually use ground beef, but tonight, for a different spin, I have a pound package of breakfast sausage thawed out, ready to go, and we're going to have a little bit of fun. So let's make the filling for the stuffed biscuits first. Okay, I'm going to tell you, I was raised on this version of shit on a shingle, SOS from now on, since my childhood. It was either hamburger or we used sausage. Chipped beef was just too expensive. So I'm going to cut the eye on. I want to break. Now this is pork breakfast sausage. It has some sage in it. Now, if you want to, you can use turkey breakfast sausage, chicken, vegan, whatever you want to use. Me and Junior are carnivores, diehard carnivores, so we use pork. And like I said, if you don't have the breakfast sausage, you can use hamburger. And it's going to take a little bit for this eye to get heated up. I'm going to get this sausage cooked till it's almost done, and I'll bring y'all right back. Okay, it is almost cooked. And man, let me tell you, there's hardly no grease at all in it. I added about a tablespoon of bacon grease, and that still really didn't amount to nothing. So we're going to make gravy anyway. I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of flour. Don't want a whole lot. And apparently, I made a huge mess. Now we're going to cook our flour for a little bit. Because there's really no grease whatsoever. It's the weirdest thing, I tell you. You want to make sure that flour gets mixed in well. It might have been 2, maybe 3 tablespoons, not much, because there's really no oil or grease in the sausage. And I think the sausage soaked up what little bit of bacon grease I added. So, yeah, this is going to be interesting. Okay. The SOS I was growing up with had beans added. So I'm using one 15-ounce can of dark red kidney beans. I have drained a little bit of the juice out. Not much. I know. Oh, I gotta rinse them. Go ahead, rinse them. Because guess what? When you rinse them, guess where all the nutrients and the protein of the beans is? It's not in the beans. These are pressure cooked. All of that's in the juice. So when you throw out the juice, you throw out all the vitamins and nutrients and the goodness of the beans and most of the flavor. So Now, you can use pinto beans. You can use light kidney beans. I'm using dark. You can use whatever beans that you like. You got leftover beans that you cooked yourself, use them. I'll mix those in. I am used to having the kidney beans in it. And I'm repeating once again, this is Southern SOS. This is not Northern. And I'm using whole milk. I don't use that fat-free stuff, and I sure don't use watered down 2%. And I'm going to add some seasoning. About a tablespoon of garlic powder. About a tablespoon of minced onions. And a couple of sprinkles of oregano. Now, traditionally, as a child, we ate this over bread. Yes, bread. Bread is big in the South. Or on top of biscuits, or on top of creamed potatoes. Now, I don't want this too awful thin, but I don't want it too thick, because we're going to be stuffing biscuits. Homemade biscuits with it, yes. And if it's too watery, it's going to ooze out of your biscuits and it's going to ruin everything. But you don't want it too thick, because then it's going to taste like wallpaper paste. There's a happy medium you have to play with here. Oh, it smells so good, y'all. And if you don't like beans, you can leave them out. If you wanted to, you could add English peas to it. You could add corn to it. Just don't get too wild. Oh, I wish y'all could smell this. The aroma is amazing. Like I said, I want this, because usually I make it a lot thinner. Not soupy, but gravy thinner. But not tonight, because I want it to stay inside the biscuit and not ooze everywhere. And I'm telling you now, Junior's already waiting for this to be finished. Now, if you was not going to stuff the biscuits, add more milk to it, thin it down some. Well, thin it down quite a bit more. Okay. Now, I'm going to set this over here on the stove so it's out of my way. I'm going to get all my ingredients ready, and then we're going to get to making biscuits. I'll bring y'all right back. Okay, now I will let you know I'm making a double batch of biscuits. I will have the single batch of biscuit recipe in the description box below. In my bowl, now I don't use what I call cheater flour. This is all-purpose flour. I have 4 cups of all-purpose flour. Also in here, I have 3 tablespoons of baking powder, 2 teaspoons of salt. Yes, I know. It'll be fine. Use the right salt. And salt's a preservative. I have a teaspoon of baking soda. Whisk that really good. Make sure everything's incorporated. Now this is my biscuit recipe now. Alright, here I have 2 sticks. Double recipe, remember. 2 sticks of cubed up salted butter. Very cold, because we're fixing to work this quite a bit. And you want to get that mixed in really good to your flour. You can use a pastry cutter if you want to. I prefer to do it by hand. That way I can feel the crumbs, because I want to get this flour saturated with butter. As you know, butter makes everything better, y'all. And I love my biscuit recipe because this biscuit recipe, you can work the daylights out of it and it's still going to perform very well. And the good part of good flaky buttery biscuits is making sure that that butter gets incorporated into this flour very well. I'm looking for small crumbs where you can tell it's broke up really good in the flour. You really don't want to have big chunks of butter. And that butter was almost too cold. And you want some flour on the side so you can work the dough. And this biscuit dough is not like most biscuits that people are used to. You can work this dough. It won't stop it from rising one bit. And it makes some of the most beautiful big old biscuits. Alright, I've almost got it done. Trying to get some of these bigger pieces broke down. Okay, now in my cup here, I have a cup and a half of what's called homemade buttermilk. All it is a cup and a half of whole milk. I don't use any other kind, or I use just straight out bought buttermilk. But this is a cup and a half of butter, cup and a half of whole milk, and I've added a tablespoon and a half of vinegar. And you'll see it'll start curdling, get real thick. That's what you want. Into the bowl it goes. Now, depending on how dry your flour is, you might have to add a little more of the buttermilk, or you might have to add some flour to it to get it to where it's workable. And sometimes you have to add more flour because of all the butter in it. And I'm starting off with a half a cup of flour. Hopefully, I shouldn't need too much more. Like I said, it all depends on how dry your flour is. And see, it's coming together now. Oh, it smells so good, y'all. Now, making cat head biscuits is not going to work with this recipe. You can use and buy, or you can buy and use frozen already made biscuits. But I plan on showing y'all later how to make your own biscuits, freeze them and everything to have them on stock. Okay, I'm going to set this aside. I'm going to set this aside over here. I'm just going to put it on top of my coffee cup. I'm going to go wash my hands off. And I'm going to go get the SOS. And I'm going to get some water in my measuring cup. Or actually, I'm going to get a smaller bowl of water. And I'm going to clean up my mess. And I'll be right back. Once I can touch the camera with a clean finger. Okay, I have my oven preheating to 425. I have a cookie sheet lined with parchment paper. I have my SOS. I have my biscuit dough. And I made an atrocity, y'all. I have to correct. I didn't add any black pepper. What you do is you add and make sure you taste it. I already tasted it and I immediately knew that I had forgot. Now, I did not put any salt at all into this because I knew the biscuits had salt in it and I knew the beans had salt, and Lord, we know sausage already has salt all in it. So, now that has cooled down quite a bit, which that's what you want. All right, we're going to get started on, let me turn it where you can actually see what I'm doing. Alright. Because I'm cheating a little bit tonight. I knew I forgot something. Proves I cook like y'all do. I forget things as well. Okay, I had to go get my bowl of water. Because you're going to use that to seal the biscuits up with. And like I said, this biscuit dough is very forgiving. You can work it quite a bit and it'll still be fine. Flour, a rolling pin. I'm just going to get flour all over the place. That's okay. Now, you do not want to roll them out too god-awful thin, but you don't want them too thick. Because basically the filling is already cooked. And I'm cheating. I've got turnover makers. Now this goes against what most people know about twisting. You don't want to twist, but don't worry about that because you're not making regular biscuits, y'all. You want to work your dough out, your biscuit dough out. You'll see why here in a minute. And what I love about these, you got the indentation in the center. And I'm using a good sized tablespoon. You don't want to overfill them because then they will bust out. Well, make sure your dough's all the way out. Now, of course, if you don't have one of these, cut circles. Roll your biscuit dough into a circle. And you're going to want to gently, don't saturate them, just gently moisten around the biscuit. And then, guess what? Voila. And you just go around it like that. Push it down hard. And gently, ever so gently, remove them. You're trying not to, and I busted it. Yep, I thought I felt it. I put a little too much filling in it. That's what you got to watch out for, and you don't want to roll them too thin. That's okay. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put that on the bottom, and we're going to place it on the cookie sheet. It's going to be fine, y'all. I'm going to show you one more. Make sure you keep flour on it, because with the butter, it will try to stick. That one I had a feeling I rolled it out a little too thin. And that's exactly why I tell you, don't make your filling too thin. That, as thick as it is, should stay in just perfectly fine. I don't think this crease in the middle helps much either. Because this one's used, most of these are used for pastry crust. You know what? I ain't worried about it. I know Janie's been waiting for another stuffed biscuit video. It's been a while. Now, at the end of the video, there will be a link to all the other stuffed biscuit recipes I have made. That one come out a little bit better. And anything you can patch the little holes up. Alright. Alright, I'm going to keep working. I'll bring y'all back as soon as I get a cookie sheet tray full. See you here in a bit. Alright, I have 8 done. They're fixing to go into the oven. I'm going to keep making more. And remember, the filling is cooked. What you're wanting is your biscuits to get good and golden brown. So about 10, 12 to 15 minutes, depends on your oven. And I've got it at 425 preheated. So I'll bring you back when I'm completely done. Alright, they are out of the oven. I ended up with 14 beautiful SOS stuffed homemade buttermilk biscuits. I had enough biscuit dough left to make a little side winder biscuit here. These just come out of the oven. These thankfully have cooled for a little bit. But you can see how beautiful golden brown they are. And the bottoms are just perfect. You can see how well they have fluffed up. They are not skinny, not whatsoever. And let's cut into the babies. Oh, soft, soft. Look at that, y'all. SOS stuffed buttermilk biscuits. Completely made from scratch, y'all. This is what I've been waiting for. Oh, they are so good. Soft, flaky biscuits. Sorry, y'all. Oh, that is so good. Homemade from scratch with love. You can have these for dinner. You can have them for breakfast or you can have them for lunch. You can serve them with creamed potatoes and gravy, or if you want to heat up the SOS, add a little more milk, you can pour that over top too. Either way, absolutely delicious. Junior is just waiting to eat dinner. He's done got scooted his little TV dinner table over to him, and he's just waiting. He's been waiting for these to be finished. But you can see how beautiful they are. Let's see, this tray, yep, I can handle this tray. That one I can't. But look at them. Beautiful golden brown and absolutely delicious. Made from scratch. And you know exactly what went into making them. Now, the stuffing is that you can put in them is almost unlimited as long as you make sure that it's not really, really soupy and it's kind of thick. Now, at the end of the video, if you wait, there'll be a link to click where you can go to the playlist where there's other stuffed biscuit recipes. Simple, easy, homemade, and let's see. And like I said, that biscuit dough is amazing. I love my biscuit dough because you can do so much with it. And guess what? You notice that they still rise. They're not like them little finicky donut biscuits where if you play with them too much, they won't rise. These will. Completely from scratch, y'all. And you can do it. If I can, I know you can. I hope you've enjoyed this video and it encourages you to make your own homemade stuffed biscuits. Now these freeze well. You can heat them up in the microwave. You can eat them cold. You can eat them hot. Whichever way, they both taste good. Everyone, continue to stock up your pantry with foods that will nourish and sustain you. Ingredients where you can make your own stuffed biscuits. And you can play around with them. Stuff them with many things. You can stuff them with fruit, you name it. It's all up to you. The sky's the limit. Stock up on your medicinals that will heal you. Protection of all kinds, and above all else, the bare essentials to survive on. I'm looking at Junior. He's waiting. Everyone, take care. Stay safe and sound out there. Warm and dry. And may you each be blessed. Hoot, hoot. Love y'all. See you soon.